It's your girl Nina Carter on Believe Radio. I'm here with my sister Tina Robinson. We are at Believe Radio Nelson BDS radio station. This is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel radio show. Today we are talking about healthy relationships, how to maintain healthy relationships. So today I have Tina Robinson of Owning My Own Truth as my guest. This is my sister girlfriend. We have been doing community outreach work for quite a few events and for quite a few years now. And I just wanted to bring her on as my first guest to give her flowers because she works hard. I mean, her heart is for the community. Monday through Sunday, you see her out doing outreach, feeding the homeless, doing gift bags. I mean, she has so much going on within a community. So, and because the name of her organization is Owning My Own Truth, that's something that I always resonated with me because oftentimes we think living a lie is more prevalent than living our truth. So just the name of her organization and her living up to that name has had me as one of her, even though she called herself one of my mentees, I have been admiring the work that she does and her sticking with her truth. So I'm going to ask her to tell us a little bit about herself.
I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
We thank you for having me here. It is an honor and giving all grace to God. Lord God, I ask that you speak through me to be transparent. And the question is,
Well, I just want you to tell them who you are. Who is Tina Robinson? And what made
I,
you start owning my own truth? So just give us something.
I am Tina Robinson, twin one of Tina and Gina from East Oakland, Brookfield. Hey, um, I'm reared with the Reverend TC and Mother Katie Mae Robinson and my six siblings in this East Oakland area.
Hmm.
I am a survivor of it all. What would have broke most people has strengthened me. it has given me a purpose in life that encourages me, and I am I stay motivated. I stay motivated to go serve our communities, no
Mhm.
matter what, to
Yeah.
go where they are
Mhm.
in the midst of their circumstances. In my journey, in my life, judgment was a prisoner for me.
Wow. Wow.
Judgment was a prisoner for me until one day I was walking off the curb. I took a step off the curb and I didn't feel my heart.
Wow.
So I felt like I was living without consequences.
Mhm.
And in that very moment, I said I had to do something because I choose no longer to exist in misery.
When you say living without consequences, that just hit deep in my gut. So, what did that look like for you?
None, numbing the hurt of that little girl that was traumatized.
Mhm.
She didn't have any concept of what a real relationship was. That little girl had unconditional love, looking beyond one spot
Mhm.
to where by not speaking out because of the love for
Mhm.
that person, um, it built up a tolerance to dysfunction.
That takes me back to I was studying on the mama wound, and it took me back to that place where even as adults, how that 8 year old in me that experienced trauma, I felt at that age, I experienced abandonment. So at that 8 year old girl was really leading my adult life. And I never ever understood
Mm.
why I made so many bad decisions or why anytime tried, my heart began to feel and I felt weak or vulnerable or in those type of situations, I had to put up this wall or mask it because I really didn't know how to process those feelings. So when you say that living without consequences, it took me down a road where I had no brakes. So I just wanted to jump in right there. So just based on that, um, that just make your services different from a lot of the organizations that we normally frequent in this nonprofit world when we're trying to give back. I often say when I'm out there in that community, I'm giving out of what I didn't have.
Mm.
So when I service people, it's not from the format of the organization. I'm not going by y'all rules protocol,
Right,
but this is a lifestyle for me because I
right,
feel like if I had it, as a teenager, a lot of the things that I allowed myself to get into, it wouldn't be. So that's why I admire your organization because you go to the gutter. You know what I'm saying? You on the gutter. So just tell me about your experiences being out there in them homeless encampments and, loving on the people and taking pictures. Just tell me how that edifies you because you do it time and time again.
First of all, I do ask for permission from
Hmm.
the people.
Amen.
My heart was really hit. Um, I went to 98 and I fed my people. I seen some people that I hadn't seen in 16 years, and I was dropping off groceries as well.
Hmm.
And I hit this one block, and something said, "Pull over." And I seen two gentlemen on the block. I got out. I asked them if they wanted something to eat. And as I approached the car, a young girl popped
Mm. Out of 10.
out of the car.
Oh, wow.
She couldn't hardly walk. And she had on these little shorts. I said, "Who hurt you?"
Hmm.
And her eyes just swelled up.
Hmm.
"Who hurt me? Like, who
Hmm.
didn't hurt me?"
Right.
I said, "I'm here for you."
Hmm.
And she was like, "Well, I want you to take me for take me somewhere. I'm like, listen, I can only take you somewhere if you're going to get help,
Hmm.
but I cannot jeopardize, you
My
know,
safety.
my
Hmm.
safety because those two guys, like the way she was walking and the way she looked, I could feel the punches. I could hear her screaming.
Hmm.
You know, it might sound unusual, but I have that gift. I can
Hmm.
feel when people are being hurt. I couldn't even sleep that night, but I gave her my number. If you're serious, if you really want help, call me. But being out there and connecting with my brothers and sisters, I remember in this particular community going to elementary school,
Hmm.
and a lot of the OGs, the cool guys, was there when I was going to elementary school.
Hmm.
They still there.
Hmm.
They lost their matriarch of their family. They've
Hmm.
been outcast. They've been just thrown away. Oh, you tripping? You on drugs? Whatever.
Hmm.
But when I look at a person who's an addict, an alcoholic, abuse victim,
Hmm.
I see the core of them,
The soul.
the
Mm.
core
Soul.
soul
Hmm.
of them that never got help to get out.
And that's the reason why I started this radio station, because a lot of times the support we need with doing this work, we don't get it. But
Yeah.
I wanted people to experience what it's really like when you trying to service people who have lost hope.
Mm,
So what you're saying is these people have lost hope.
yeah.
And even with you going to offer them assistance, and some of them familiar with who you are and where you came from, they still don't want to take it because so often they get dropped in the middle or during the process.
Hmm.
So what keeps you motivated to keep going out there doing
I'll say this. When I was younger, my mom used to always hug people and
it?
she would rub them in the small of their back. And I'm the baby, so I was jealous. Like, Mama, why you always rub it on these people? And she said, baby, if they let me get close to them, I'm praying for them. And that
Mm,
same rubbing of the small of the back, I do that for all my children and anybody that allows me to get in their space because it's healing,
mm-hmm,
you know.
mm-hmm,
So um, it's my purpose. It's my assignment
mm-hmm,
from being spiritually broken,
mm-hmm,
prisoner to my own childish understanding. I
mm-hmm,
was that little girl for a very long time.
mm-hmm.
I had to learn how to walk, talk, and eat again, walk away from drama, talk positive for myself in the face of someone saying, oh,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
you know,
mm-hmm. All
sorry.
that negative, negative.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And realizing when someone is always condoning you, they're deflecting.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Talk more about that because I seen you do a workshop on deflecting. So could you talk a little more about what that looks like?
Yes, I can. For me, my perspective of deflecting in my life
Mm-hmm,
is someone that wants to control you. They
mm-hmm,
want to manipulate you. Um, Someone that deflects how they feel will weaponize you with words.
mm-hmm,
I love you,
mm-hmm.
but don't do nothing,
To prove it.
nothing to prove it.
Mm,
But show up, and everything that you do to hey, I care. I show you I care. The
mm-hmm,
words, that's just words, but I show you I care, and then everything is minimized. And in my perspective now is that's control. It's control,
mm-hmm,
to dominate my purpose,
mm-hmm,
to demean my purpose in your life,
mm-hmm.
and I understand it's not about me, it's about whomever you dealt with in your past because I am amazing. I
Mm-hmm.
am an amazing woman.
Yes, you
I
are.
am phenomenal.
Mm-hmm,
I am phenomenal. And unfortunately, the experiences I've had with individuals, they couldn't understand it. They
mm-hmm,
couldn't fathom it. So they did everything they could to break me.
To break you. So I'm glad you're still here and you done endured through that process. I was at one of your healing circles and I seen you minister through because first of all, I'm led by my spirit. Jesus is the author and finisher of my faith, and that's what I believe. That's what I stand on, and I'm not scared to use His name, and that's what the foundation of this show is built on, Jesus Christ. So I seen you help a woman through taking her through an exercise with a rock.
Mm.
That was the first time I seen that.
Really?
Yeah. So that form of healing, where did that come from for you?
Honestly, I was dealing with a lot, and I was taking the garbage out,
Mhm.
and I seen this nice smooth stone on the ground. I walked on the left side of it, and as I was going back in the house, I walked on the right side of it. The Holy Spirit said, "Pick it up
Mhm.
and put it in the Bible." I put it in the Bible for like 2 weeks. David and Goliath.
Mm.
David had 5 stones, but he used 3, right?
Mhm.
My David, my Goliaths is depression, doubt, fear, anger, and lack of value.
Wow.
So when I need to feel some kind of way, I
Mhm.
go to those stones
Mhm.
and rub them and pray with them.
And those are the things that you wrote on those stones to remind you, or
No, not those.
uh-huh.
That's another exercise.
Okay.
Those stones that you seen
Mhm.
is called owning my own stones.
Okay.
Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I gave that over to God.
Right.
So I'm not carrying this. So I'm gonna own
Right.
X, Y, and Z.
All of it.
You know?
Right, right, right.
Yes.
So I think that's where I was heading with this show is to be unapologetic with your who you are. So with owning your own truth, it gives you that sense of because I truly feel we can't heal from what we're not willing to expose.
Right.
And oftentimes just dealing with women really by being a group facilitator for women and God called me to women, it's the mask that we hide behind
Yes.
that we don't even realize that it's open in our actions, in our attitude, the way we
Yeah.
treat people, the way we treat other women, the lack of support, the lack of being able to compliment one another. So those are the type of things that it's harder to live with. You know, because I remember when I didn't love myself and I wasn't happy with myself, first thing I was saying, "Oh, she ain't cute. Her hair color cute, but I don't like that style." You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't value me. So the first thing I learned to do was, I thought it made me feel a certain way to tear another woman down. But in reality, I had to sit with my own self at night and realize that I was hurt and broken. So more of exposing myself and giving myself permission to heal and really learning who I was in God, who my purpose was and who He was calling me to be, really helped me get free because I felt like I lived a lot of my life pleasing people. And it took many years to take those layers off of what what I thought validated me from because when you don't know who you are, people will give you identity. And even though it don't feel right in here, you still do it to save face. So even with the familiar things I have seen in you just in certain settings, how people will try to minimize your skills and your gifting, because at the end of the day, they're going to use it in a different format or they're going to rename it. So I done seen situations where I done pulled you to the table and said, shut that down. You know what I'm saying? Because when you say you can identify with somebody been hurt based on your experience with being hurt, I could identify with somebody who's being mishandled or mistreated because I've been that. So I'm finna come to the rescue of that. I got my cape on and everything, but like you said with the young lady in the car, everybody ain't ready. So that was a hard pill for me to
You.
swallow.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
what you
yes.
mean you don't ready? I learned some tools. I need you to have these tools too, so you won't continue to go through what I've been through. But it's that process.
If I may share with
Mm-hmm.
you,
Go ahead.
um, legally on paperwork,
Uh-huh.
I'm dead.
Wow.
But spiritually, I'm lit for the Lord.
Yes.
Everything you see is some days I can't walk or get out of bed, but it's a fire in me that
Just
I gotta
Jesus.
go.
Just
I
Jesus.
gotta go. I have a gift that I wake up and I can feel people being hurt, and
Mm.
I don't know who it is,
Mm-hmm.
and
So,
it's scary.
how do you prepare yourself for that?
Scream, no, yeah,
Look, only your own truth. If you
everyone
scream,
to
kick,
like,
and holler.
oh,
Hmm.
but lately, as I'm maturing into the woman God is designed me to be, is I'm asking for clarity,
Hmm.
Lord, because this here is terrifying. I
Hmm.
don't want to know this,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know. But since you're gifting me with this, reveal it to me.
Hmm.
But I have to be patient. I have to be still.
Hmm.
So in doing that, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
It's beautiful being patient to receive what God has for me.
Yeah, because I see the glow, the glory. Because I mean, it's so much easier just to surrender to His will.
It is.
I mean, but it sounds easy. It's hard because once you say yes, then it's a different level of attack. It's a different level
Mm,
of warfare. And if they would have told me when I got saved, see, when I got saved, I was under the impression that all that was gonna go away.
mm,
I didn't know that it was gonna go to a whole nother level.
mm,
So in it going to that whole nother level, it just taught me long suffering, how to pray, and God really showed me how to keep my eyes on Him when I wanted to go back to, because that old person is still there.
yes,
And some
absolutely.
days I just want to act a donkey.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? Because that was my safe place
mm-hmm.
when I had no circumstances and it wasn't no, I didn't feel consequences. So that was my safe place. So sometimes when God is taking me through that process, even your kids don't understand. You know, trying to explain your process to people is one of the scariest and one of the worst feelings to feel because people discredit you based on where you at in your process.
Right.
So a lot of times when I see you, I be praying like, what's her warfare like?
Mm.
Because whom much is given, much is required. So I carry you in my spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because what's her warfare like?
Love
Hmm.
language.
Let's talk about that.
Love language. Love language in our communities,
Hmm.
if we go to the core, is used as a weapon
Hmm.
to get control. I love you,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna leave and be gone and be with this chick, but I love you,
Hmm.
so it's okay.
Hmm.
No, care for me,
Hmm.
assist me, support me as I would you.
Hmm.
That's love.
Hmm.
But that word, a lot of kicks and hits
Hmm.
came with that.
Came with that love,
Yep.
and that's a deep thing because for me, I feel love is more of action. You don't never have to tell me you love me.
Hmm.
Like you said, the way you handle me, the way you treat me, the way you support me, even in my indifferences, even if I could be weak, and because sometimes as women being strong to me is overrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't stand when I hear a woman say, well, I'm just strong like that. No, because we weren't made to be strong. We were made to be helpers. It's the man's job to be strong and all of that. That's not our job. So when a strength of the woman becomes the new thing, for me it's not because I didn't have to be strong my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I went to therapy, the first thing she said to me was like, "Oh my God, you're so strong." And I'm like, lady, this is why I'm here,
Mhm.
because I don't want to be strong.
Mhm.
It's overrated being strong. So just learning how to be weak to me is a strength. When I learned how I didn't have to show up for everybody in every situation, that became my strength, not having to be strong. So, how do you feel when people see you as this strong woman, even though you battling your own
I tell them
trauma?
I'm perfectly imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
I have temporary bouts of insanity,
Mm-hmm.
temporary insanity,
Mm-hmm.
thinking I can fix things because I don't want to hurt or I don't want them to hurt. But the reality is I can't. So I have to process those emotions. And it's real heavy to
Mm-hmm.
me, even dealing with my children, my family, my loved ones. I love hard
Mm. Me too.
because I want.
Mm-hmm.
I love, I love how I love. I love
So, can I ask you, who has helped you on your way to success?
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Jesus, but
Yeah.
my twin.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your twin.
I'm a crybaby, so forgive
That's
me.
fine. We living our truth. So if tears will help you heal, then hey, so be it. You got some tissue? Uh,
My twin helped me. She grabbed, she grabbed my hand one day,
mm-hmm.
and I was fighting. I didn't know what it was. She grabbed my hand because she didn't know the side of me, the
Mm-hmm.
side that she saw. Uh-huh. She grabbed my hand and she was like, "Twin, before I let anything take you out, I will take you out. So you need to own it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, whatever it looks like, whatever it takes like, whatever it feels like, own it.
Mm-hmm.
Own it so we can release it. Don't care. You don't have to carry it anymore. You know, I say hi to you and you bite my head off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have that fight here.
Right.
You know, and it's like I heard her. I listened.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to her. And all my family, all my siblings, all my Robinson siblings, we all went through different journeys, but we're here. Because my mother and my father reared us to be unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
We may
Mm-hmm.
not have to like you,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's
we,
I think that's a key thing. I don't have to like you to love you,
mm-hmm,
because we don't. Oftentimes we don't take pay attention to behaviors.
mm-hmm,
So it's your behavior that I don't like,
right,
and then people take it personal. But some behaviors just ain't acceptable,
right,
especially around me and certain people. So even with setting boundaries, when people talk about boundaries, that's a give and take for me. It's just certain things that I'm not going to accept and I will accept. So even paying attention to behavior patterns, I think if we start paying attention to that more so than making a person own what they did in that second or in that minute, just where did that behavior come from?
right,
Because everything stems from something.
right,
So instead of, like I often tell people, it's already an inner conflict that's going on inside of me. So
mm-hmm,
what you seen was an outer expression, which was me calling out for help.
mm,
So instead of you coming to help me, what you did was took that incident and ran and made it a negative and then gossip behind it.
mm-hmm,
So in those cases, then you realize when you mature past those type of situations, now I got to look at what's her root. See,
mm-hmm,
I can't even take it as offense no more,
mm-hmm.
because God done delivered me in that area. So now I have to be more mature and say, oh, for her to do that to me, I wonder what's going on with her.
Absolutely. Deflecting,
Yes,
deflecting.
yes.
And what I've learned in my association with different people, um, mindfully that they know some of my story,
Mhm.
and the love language gets crossed
Mhm. Mhm.
because if you show up, I serve you, I support you, I value you.
Mhm.
But that love language in their concept, it crossed boundaries.
Yes.
And then it's like, if when I say, hey, I rather have a long working relationship
Mhm.
with you than a temporary moment of pleasure.
Right.
Been there, done that. I
Yeah.
know what it is.
Mhm.
You can't tell me, oh, if we put these ground rules that it's gonna be cool. No,
Mhm. Mhm.
a woman and a man,
Mhm.
mm-mm,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
can't.
And you have to be whole to even hold that standard. And
Right,
you got to be true with yourself.
right.
That's just like me saying I'm sustaining from sex, and then you invite me over to watch Netflix in your room. What I look like taking that invitation,
Right,
So we have to be honest and real with ourselves about things.
right.
But we're going to wrap this up. I sure appreciate you.
I
And I
appreciate you
wanted
too.
you on this platform because I know you had a lot to say. So tell the people right there, how can they support Owning My Own Truth? What you need from the community? I mean, just tell them a little about what will help you keep it going.
Well, if you choose to sow a seed, that would be helpful.
Hmm.
A seed to nourish that root of life that
Hmm.
creates a tree so we can branch off, share shade, share a branch,
Hmm.
feed, Um, honestly, I do trust in God to provide all my needs. But
Hmm.
as a grassroots organization, if you feel it in your heart to support us with materials we need, such as hygiene care for homeless encampments, care bags, um, clothes, shoes, water, hot meals, whatever is on your heart, please schedule a time and date with me. 510-677-4746. Robinson Tina 82 at gmail.com.
What's your social media page? Give me a social media
Owning
page.
my own truth behavior support.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys, for our first part of community unity, maintaining healthy relationships. That was my girl, Tina Robinson. I'm going to now bring up Janice. She's going to join us. Janice Franklin, she is a facilitator, relationship facilitator for Bonafide Sisterhood, which is my nonprofit organization out of Antioch, California. And I want to bring her up, and we're going to talk about she facilitated a group, and the material that she shared blew my mind. And I just felt that she could come in and tap in on these sessions and just talk about relationship compatibility and tools that could be used when you are seeking relationships. And when we talk about relationships on this platform, it's not just relationships between a man and woman. It's spiritual relationships, it's work relationships, it's community relationships. So all forms of relationships is what we will be discussing, because the main thing is for us to learn how to interact with each other and bridge the gap between the division that goes on a lot. So I'm gonna let her tell us a little bit about herself. She's here.
Well, hello. I'm Janice Franklin, and I would say that I'm a journey coach. Now that I'm based on my experience, I'm focused on trying to help people and couples and families just reach their best self, get through the hard parts as far as dealing with conflicts and disputes, and just dealing with that trauma so that way we're stopping those curses, those generational curses that keep our families dysfunctional.
Okay. So what have been your biggest learnings from your projects?
Um, so based on what I've experienced and what I've been learning, I've been working in customer service in some kind of form for over 20 years. So I've dealt with all different types of people. And I find that communication is definitely a big issue as far as why we have dysfunction in general. But also, it's because we're struggling on the inside. There's a lot of unresolved trauma that each and every one of us are going through at any given time. And that is what is fueling how we communicate with others, especially those that we love and care about. So I definitely want to do what I can based on what I know to help people deal with that. And I'm dealing with it myself. So.
So based on me just talking to you and just watching you develop curriculum and just elevate yourself through a lot of different trainings and workshops, um, talk about a little bit more about the people that influence you to do the work.
Well, you're definitely one of those people. Uh, because I mean, just uh, like I don't know if I could have survived what you've survived. Just like somebody, if I tell my story to somebody else, they would be awestruck. But um, people that influence me, I would say, are just those that are really genuine in their purpose and the fact that they know their purpose is to make others better and they do it selflessly. So, one of the people I would say is, besides you, would be Dave Anderson. He's
Mhm.
my business coach, and he is one of the main people that is getting me to break out of the doubt and the fear and really put that value into myself, and really bet on my own abilities.
Mhm.
And I have a few other people, Stephanie D. McKenzie, my family, just, I'm work in progress, and I'm just trying to do the best I can every day to get, to realize my purpose.
Mhm.
So.
Mhm. So where do you see yourself in the next? Because, like I say, since I've been knowing you, it's been a progress. So I'm not gonna even say the next 5, 3 years. Where do you see yourself next year?
Next
Let's
year.
just say that. Where do you see it? Based on all the studying and the work that you have accumulated up to this for, where do you see yourself?
Um, I see myself independently working with people to work through that trauma and work through those disputes and conflicts, those struggles that are keeping them from even seeing their own purpose. I'm definitely independent. I'm not working for nobody else because I need to be free to really serve.
Talk about that. Talk about being free,
Okay.
because I think it's a lot of people who feel like that, but they are so married to being employed.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, so talk about that piece for me.
So, and I'm one of those people.
Uh
I
huh.
have been, I'm almost 40. Thank
Hmm.
God I've made
Hmm.
it this far, and I'm one of those programmed to work. My family, that's what I was taught. You get a job, you hopefully it's a good job you can stay at, retire,
Hmm.
all that. And I've seen what happens because once you retire, depending on how good that job was, you may be able to make it, you may not.
Hmm.
And of course they don't make those jobs like they used to. They
Right.
don't care about their employees like they used to.
Yes.
Now you'll be lucky you get that watch after 30
Hmm.
years or whatever,
Hmm.
because you
Hmm.
get pensions not guaranteed.
Right.
But being that programming, just like our education, is making us slaves. It's making us prisoners to the system and making us employees. Like that's what they trained and programmed us to do. And once we get out of that,
Hmm.
once we realize our own value and realize we don't have to be employees, we can be employers. We
Hmm.
can be just servicers. We
Hmm.
can be providers,
Hmm.
and we don't need outside influence. We just need to figure out what each other needs, how we can help each other and help ourselves and come together. So freedom to me is breaking that programming, is breaking those chains that keep us in fear of what's next. Like like right now, I am trying to get over that fear in order to grasp my freedom. Like my freedom is there, I see it. But because of that program and that fear and the doubt that society has put on me, I'm struggling. I'm resisting.
Yes.
And it just adds to the other additional struggles that we have just trying to make it every day in this life. So if I'm gonna deal with all life has to give me, I'd rather be free and living on my own terms in order to do that. Because then I'm not worried about it. I'll be all right.
So just hearing you talk, it goes back to changing our belief system. And I'm real big. I remember Bishop Johnny Clark did a message about the belief system. And that thing stuck to me like white on rice. And every day, something that don't sit with me and it become traditional or something to that extent, I learned how to not force it to fit. And oftentimes we force it to fit. And I remember we was at a workshop and Lady Clark was teaching and she talked about the turkey. She was talking about how the lady was cut the legs off the turkey and put it in a pot, and the husband was why every time you cook the turkey you cut the legs off, and she was like, I don't know, my mama do that. So then he said, well, call your mama. So when she called her mama like, I don't know, my mama did that. So they trying to figure out where did it come from. So eventually they got to the matriarch of the family, and she said, because I cut the legs off of my turkey because my pan was too small to fit the whole turkey. So now we done came generations of doing the same thing that was handed down, never questioned the reason or why. And our generation came out with more of a entrepreneur mindset. Most people in my age era, younger than me, already knew that they couldn't work a 9 to 5. Some did, but it wasn't popular in your family to have a business. So that belief system just, you got to go to school, you got to go to college, you got to go that. Even if you sitting on your dreams. I done seen people send their kids to college and go in debt. And at the end of the day, she done went did hair, but she got a degree in psychology. So a lot of those belief system has to change, and we have to really talk about stuff like that because we be killing our kids on our watch because we're trying to force stuff into a society that looks nothing like ours or our parents. So that's a whole nother topic. But we getting close to the end of my first show. So I hope people tuned in, and I hope you guys just excited as I am about Believe Radio. This is a Christian-based radio station. 24 hours a day, they have gospel music, so just tune in and soothe your mind. Listen to some new artists from the Bay Area and other places. And I just want to thank y'all, and I want to ask you one more thing. Give me three wishes you have.
3 wishes.
Mhm.
Um, I wish to be fearless.
Mm.
Um, I wish for peace inside
Inner peace.
and genuine connections, because I think that yeah, if I can have every interaction I have with somebody, if it's genuine, then I know we'll both
Yes.
be better.
Yes.
So yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all again. You could find me on at Nina Carter at Facebook.com. Nina underscore Bonafide Sisterhood on Instagram. And if you want to be a part of what we have going on here at Believe Radio, you could email me at Believe Radio Nina C at gmail.com. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you got some products you want me to promote on here, or you have some events going on, holla at your girl. All right, Coach Carter, we out.